sight, out of my hand, the blind leading the blind leading the blind, the sign of the giant, out of sight, out of my hand, the blind leading the
Oh, ready or not, here we come. We're gonna find you and make you watch AEW. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, we are here. We are live right here on the Value Wrestling right here on YouTube. Make sure you share this out. Make sure you let everybody know we're live. We're here and we're ready to talk about AEW's Full Gear for 2024. I think we all kicked it in the high gear for Full Gear and survived through this debauchery of 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever it turned out to be. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host on the big time, along with my co-host, the one, the only, Senor Z, the future super heavyweight luchador. Go ahead and say hi to the Fallout fans, Mr. Z.
Hola.
Good job. Anyways, 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. I don't know who was keeping track. Maybe Mr. Z was. But it was Full Gear. It was AEW. There was good. There was bad. There was ugly. There was, why did we even have this much TV for a pay-per-view? It didn't really lead to a lot. And we went through a couple of decent matches closer to the end to end on a weird freaking feeling like we're ending a television program and not a pay-per-view. Mr. Z, what were your overall thoughts of AEW Full Gear 2024?
Go. Go.
All right.
That's about it.
He wanted to run down to his local Costco and decide if the pizza was boom or doom. That was about the highlight of the night there. Ladies and gentlemen, tell us what you felt by joining us in the chat, joining us in the conversation. Let us know if you liked AEW Full Gear this year, if you thought it was a boom or a doom. We're going to talk about it right here. We're going to break it all down. We're going to get into discussion, starting with your favorite part of the show, everybody's favorite part of this show, Mr. Z's, what he gets excited about and giddy about on every AEW show, the 0 Hour. And we know our old friend, Mr. Clark, was excited because 0 Hour started off with a banger as Deonna Purrazzo came out with Taya Valkyrie to take on Anna Jay. And a match that went 7 minutes, 22 seconds. Was a fine match for the women. In the end, Anna Jay gets the win. As Deonna Purrazzo was trying to get the armbar, Anna rolled her over, got the 1, 2, 3. Deonna Purrazzo was a big name signed by AEW and is now regulated to opening 0 Hour. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know if that's a promotion. That's a promotion because, I mean, Jay White's on the main card now. So, I mean, and he was Mr. 0 Hour for a while there. So, it could be the best spot she's had.
Yes, and then we got to see a whole bunch of random people we didn't even know still worked for AEW when Lexi Nair was talking with Billy Starks before Red Velvet popped up and said she's going to be in the match. There's a 4-way match for a spot at Wrestle Dynasty between Billy Starks and Red Velvet, and then Layla Hirsch came in and said, I'm a part of that match. And then finally, I don't know if she still is the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I mean, misregulated to nothingness. A former name, Ember Moon. I mean, it was shocked to see her face on TBS. We saw Athena. Athena's here to talk about how she's in that match and she's going to win that. Yes, I know you may have forgotten the name of Athena, formerly known as Ember Moon. That's who that was.
I didn't even know Billy Starks was still there.
Didn't know any of these people were still around. I'm hungry now. Quit talking about red velvet. That's one of my favorite type of cakes. Anywho.
All right.
Alexis Nair is now with QT Marshall because he's going to take on the Big Boom AJ tonight. So we've gone from the world of the phenomenal AJ Styles to AJ Lee to AJ Kirsch to the Big Boom AJ.
I was looking at him more of like a Colt Cabana ripoff because of the color scheme of his tights and his elbow pads.
Anyways, QT Marshall coming from New Jersey where the event's being held. He ran down New Jersey and pretty much said the Big Boom is what's bad about New Jersey. He represents everything that is New Jersey. And QT Marshall, who was a part of the company, then left the company, then came back to the company because another company didn't really want him or have anything for him to do, is saying he's here to bring the doom. Yay.
Oh, no.
I know everybody got excited for that.
Oh, no.
Of course, the crazy part is what's going to come up in a few minutes, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anyways, 0 Hour continues when we have a four-way dance with Dante Martin, the Beast Mortos, Komander, and Buddy Matthews. And they could have made this a five-way dance, Tony Khan. I've got your fifth man. I will be your Paul Heyman. I will deliver your fifth man to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Senor Z, the super heavyweight luchador. Hey, Ghost, if you're watching, can we get a luchador mask with like a purple with a golden V that like they turn into horns? I think it would be awesome. Anyways, if you don't know, West Coast Design does help make wrestling masks along with flyers, banners, and custom titles. West Coast Designs, our buddies over there, our good buddy West Coast. Check them out on Instagram. We'll be seeing him real soon come December 8th when he helps bring West Coast Designs, Collectible Stampede, Barrios Toys, and many others together to bring you Lucha, 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 Lucha Sana. Anyways, four-way dance here was a four-way dance that you got. In the end, Buddy Matthews picks up a big win with a curb stop and a 1, 2, 3. The match went 10 minutes, 33 seconds. A big, good, great match. Glad to see Buddy Matthews getting a win.
Yeah, it was good seeing him get a win. I just kind of feel like they're throwing away something that could be golden as far as the House of Black. It's almost like they get some steam, and then they lose some steam, and then they lose more steam, and then they're brought out of catering again. That's my take.
It is what it is. Up next is the biggest match of the night. The biggest pop of the night came for the Big Boom. Actually, it didn't even come for the Big Boom AJ. I think the biggest pop of the night came for the Rizzler. We also got to see the return of BS, the Big Show. After he got slammed through a car, he has finally returned to take on commentary for this match. The Rizzler was there, Big Justice was there, and of course Big Boom AJ, who was an New Jersey indie star who had a big name, and so he's going to take on QT Marshall. Everybody kind of gets in this match. Eventually, Justice delivers a spear to QT Marshall. And then we see the big power boom connect for the 1, 2, 3. The match went 11 minutes, 46 seconds. The Big Boom AJ wins. This match is what this match was. Wasn't beautiful, wasn't horrible, but did it. The fans loved it in attendance. The Big Boom. And I know a lot of people are like, why are they doing this? Well, the Big Boom, the Costco guys, as they're called, that go and try foods and say if they're boom or no boom. They have a huge following on your YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all these other wonderful places. And when you have a following, if you can get into something like this, it's the same reason you hear all these rumors that WWE wants to do something with Jake Paul and Mike Tyson at WrestleMania. If somebody has talk and somebody has something behind them and you can, bring that into what you're doing, then you might as well jump on it, if you know what I mean, because, hey, you may get more eyes on the product. How did you feel about the Big Boom, Senor Z?
I just wanted to know if anyone could check on Jim Cornette and see if he's okay after seeing Big Justice deliver a spear, because we know how he feels about gimmick stuff like that. Just make sure he's good. Check on Life Support, make sure he's good.
And while you're talking to James E. Cornette, if anybody can get a hold of him, make sure he reaches out to the Value Wrestling, because we have a very, very important question for him. We have somebody that we know.
Do.
We have an ally to the Value Wrestling that we hope to sit down and interview eventually, but we'd like to get some words from James E. Cornette. Maybe we can get James E. Cornette to come out to a Supreme Pro Wrestling show to see some of the great talent at Supreme Pro Wrestling, because we have one of his favorite wrestling stars each and every third Sunday.
Yes.
Anyways, we go to the back, and Mercedes Monet is there with Camille, and she is chewing up and down Camille, saying it's Camille's fault that she's all these losses, blah, 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 and that Camille can stay in the back while she goes and does what she does. As 0 Hour wraps up, the Kings of the Black Throne, the Acclaimed, the Outrunners all get their entrances. Actually, the Outrunners and the Kings of the Black Throne get their entrances on 0 Hour. Then the show finally opens, and we get the Acclaimed. They continue to tease the split between Anthony Bowens and Max Caster. Max Caster coming out and doing his rap and then tossing the mic at Anthony Bowens in a way that was kind of, Bowens didn't catch it, knocked it, and had to go chase it down. Continuing to talk about the friction there. And, of course, Private Parties, the defending champions, Quen and Zay, out here to defend their titles in this four-way dance. This match was a great way to open the show. It's exactly what you thought it eventually. Due to a distraction, Bowens and Caster were about to win this. So you're about to see the Acclaim with the tag titles again. But they got distracted and wasted too much time, allowing Bowens is up on top. The rival into the match. Oh, Caster. The arrival, but the mic drop is interrupted. Gin and juice on Max Caster for the 1, 2, 3. I thought it was on Bowens, though. Max Caster was outside. I think Bowens was in the ring. I forget. I'd have to go back and watch it. Private Party. Well, I think Bowens was the one that was going to go up for the mic drop, and they got distracted by Caster. I don't know. I have to go back. That was like 6 hours ago. Welcome to the show, everybody. Tell us what you thought.
Exactly.
Private Party retained the titles in a decent match that went 13 minutes, 29 seconds. What were your thoughts on this four-way dance, Mr. Z?
I don't know. I felt like I was watching Xavier and Kofi for a little bit there with the whole Max Caster, Anthony Bowens thing. I was like, when did this start happening? But, I mean, I don't know how long that friction's been going on.
It's been going on for a little bit.
Private Party Private Party picking up the win, it makes sense. They just got the titles recently. You want to give them a decent run. I just hope it's not to a returning tampon buck party, but who knows? Yeah,
it's an interesting sight here, pay-per-view without the tampon bucks. And the big news being that Jon Moxley is now has his own creative control and is out to taking over this leadership of the locker room in the back. And we'll be talking about a lot of this more tomorrow night on Sunday on the Weekly Roundup podcast. But Jon Moxley has creative control, and he has taken up a leadership position in the locker room in the back and pretty much wants to take AEW in a new direction. It seems like there's a shift. Are we moving to Moxley and away from the Bucks and Omega, the original founders of AEW? Is there going to be some regret here? Is there some friction? We're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow. But it's really interesting as Omega decides that he doesn't need to come to AEW because AEW has enough talent. He's going to go back to New Japan to make his return to the ring against Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty. And the Young Bucks, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen tonight at a pay-per-view event for AEW. What does that mean? Does it mean anything? Does it mean nothing at all? Speculation's out there about what's going on with AEW. And we'll talk about that tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pacific time, right here on the Value Wrestling with your weekly roundup when the big man, Mr. Z, and of course me, the medium-sized man, the big time. Do it like we do it,
Oh yeah.
just not like on Discovery Channel.
Oh.
Anyways, Lexi there's backstage with Orange Cassidy. The Death Rider sent him a message on Wednesday, but tonight they sent a message back. AEW sent a message back. It started with Private Party, who equally started 5 years ago. AEW means everything to them. So does it. So does it to OC Orange Cassidy. Now does it exist without AEW? Tonight, OC shows the AEW doesn't need Moxley, and he will take that AEW World Championship and stick it in his backpack. So it will go from the briefcase to the backpack. Anyways, your next match, MJF against Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, baby. We were set on a challenge. They had to defeat the next 3 men they faced. Roderick Strong able to overcome all 3 of his competitors. Adam Cole came up short when he had to confront Takeshita and wasn't able to get the win there. So we got MJF versus Roderick Strong. For a lot of people who are like, why shouldn't this be MJF and Adam Cole? Can we just get it over with? Because nobody freaking cares anymore. This match went 13 minutes, 35 seconds. It was a decent match for both these guys in there. The story was looking over Strong's leg. MJF eventually rolls it into the salt of the earth. Strong taps out. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, your winner of this match, getting a win over Roderick Strong. It was a okay, decent match. I mean, it's MJF. It was highlighted. Roderick Strong doing his thing. The big part came after the match. MJF grabs a steel chair, locks Strong's arm in it, and hits stomp on the chair. You know it's all about the boom hit, and out comes Adam Cole. He is here. MJF hightails it out to the crowd. The rest of the Undisputed Kingdom and Kyle O'Reilly come out to look on Strong. Kyle O'Reilly snaps on Cole, shoving him down and saying that this is his fault. David Bennett offered to help Cole, but Cole indicates that he's okay. So Kyle O'Reilly mad at Adam Cole because Roderick Strong shouldn't be involved in Adam Cole's situation with MJF, but Roderick Strong put himself in there, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. Can we just get Adam Cole versus MJF and end this storyline and be done with it? Because I don't think anybody cares anymore. You ruined the story. And now the Undisputed Kingdom are all good guys. So Adam Cole came back to be with the Undisputed Kingdom. Roderick Strong out here, and they're all buddies and friends, and they come off as the baby faces trying to take down the heel MJF, if you didn't catch that.
So he's no longer our scumbag. Is that what they're trying to say?
No, MJF is our scumbag. Yes, he's the scumbag now, but Adam Cole is the baby face. And the Undisputed Kingdom now are going to be baby faces because Roderick Strong, yeah.
Where is Wardlow? Was he there tonight?
Who?
Did anyone see him? Or was
Who?
Exactly.
I feel like people
Did
switch.
they check catering?
I feel like people on AEW switch face heel faster and more often than they change underwear sometimes. I mean,
It's called the Big Show effect.
Chris Statlander was just recently heel, and then all of a sudden she drops Stokely Hathaway, who I don't know where he disappeared to, and now she's a big baby face.
Yeah.
Because what happens tonight? Well, Chris Statlander took on Mercedes Moné for the TBS Women's Championship.
That don't work for her, brother.
Something like that. Anyways, this match went 19 minutes and 23 seconds. 19 minutes too long. Chris Statlander looked good and strong through most of this, but most of the people didn't really care because everybody's over Monet. They teased one too many times Statlander getting a near fall in this match. In the end, Monet hit her Saturday Night Fever. At least it was a little bit better than it's been in the past. Maybe Statlander knows how to take it better. But in the end, Mercedes Moné still your TBS Women's Champion and your New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Women's Champion. Yeah.
Hopefully not for long. Hopefully not for long. Just fingers crossed. Because whoever she's taking that back, please.
Of course,
I hope.
Mercedes Moné out there looking like somebody was playing WWE or I guess AEW, whatever you want to call it, but they were spamming the Meteora because we had a lot of Meteoras tonight.
Yeah, that was true. Because I was like, I said, does she not know how to call spots? Because that's like I've seen at least 6 of them. I don't know how
No,
many there were total.
it felt like your friend, and that was the only move they knew how to do on WWE, whatever.
It's Tony when he plays me on that damn game. That's
There
the
you
only
go.
move he knows.
Yes, Kat, I hear you. Anyways, Mercedes Moné is still your TBS Women's Champion. Oh yeah,
and the
brother.
crowd goes mild.
Yes, they did. Not very happy.
No, not just that. They weren't happy. That was the quietest, loudest CEO chant I've ever heard in my life. To whoever thinks that that chant is the fans, I have video proof. It's not. It's just someone said it was a sold out house tonight too. I don't know what was the attendance tonight.
It was I guess it was sold out. I mean, people were there. It looked like Grimm's Choice Show showed a lot of people up in the rafters. But then I saw a picture of Grimm's Choice Show later. Whoopsie, what are we doing here? Okay. I saw a picture from Grimm's Choice Show later from where he was sitting, where they had that open area like we saw at San Jose, where it was all taped off, and that's where the cameras and everybody sat. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how many people they had there. It did look like a decent house, so I mean, I can't complain about that.
Well, I could do you one better. Tony Khan tweeting all night, and yeah, Mr. Khan, you got to book your super heavyweight luchador if you get a chance. Give me a call. Not hard to find. I'm right here. But I get to be Tony Khan for the next few months till we figure things out for SPW. I'll be on the tweet machine all night, baby.
Well, you are the social media guy, so I mean, you need to make sure you're doing the justice of what needs to be done. Lots of stuff to do there, and we're going to get a lot of that stuff figured out going on. I mean, the big thing is going into Hostile Holiday on December 15th, the third Sunday of December. SPW goes live at the Soccer Indoor World Arena, the World Indoor Soccer Arena. I don't know why I always have a hard time saying it. To us, it's the SPW Arena in Elk Grove, California, right off of Quen. We're going to be recording that whole event, and we're going to light it up, and we're going to set it on fire. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a magical time. But yeah, we're setting up new challenges, and then we got to do a lot of things and get ready for the new year, because we are going to be moving into a hot year as we move into 2025 with a lot of major events coming up. And the biggest event in 2025, April 27th, SPW One Supreme Night, the 25th anniversary show. We have a lot to do to get ready for that, my friend.
Everybody wants that main event, baby. Everybody wants that main event, even big.
Well, they do. They want it so much. I get it. They make me want to go. I want the main event because they get me so excited. I mean, they're going to have fans winning that spot because they get everybody so excited about that opportunity. I mean, if you listen to these people, you hear what they have to say. I don't know how you don't get excited for One Supreme Night on April 27th, 2025, when it's the 25th anniversary show, 25 years of Supreme Pro Wrestling. And the house is going to be rocking. Some big names maybe coming through. We don't know yet. There's a lot of chitter chatter. There's a lot of talks. But we're keeping our ear close to the ground. We've got sources on the inside.
I got one right here, and everybody has heard you say it several times. JR Kratos, One Supreme Night. Come chop the big man. I'm right here. I'm not hard to fight. If he can make it down there, I could be chopped by the big man.
Well, and if you go back and watch last year's, because you can see it on SPW's TV, SPW's YouTube channel, Supreme Pro Wrestling YouTube, Supreme Pro Wrestling TV. You can go over there. They have last year's event. They had a challenge that was thrown out by your other boy, who we missed by just a month, really, a couple months. He came to the show in May because he couldn't make it to One Supreme Night, but he showed up in May and answered a challenge that was thrown down at last year's One Supreme Night and wound up wrestling both Chima and Drake Frost in May when the Tour of the Islands took place and Jeff Cobb showed up.
Yes, that's right. That is right.
So you
I
never
wouldn't
know
mind
who's going
taking
to
a
show up.
tour either.
So, I mean, you could take a chop from Jeff Cobb. You could take a chop from J.R. Kratos, which I know that's the big challenge you want to lay out each and every week. I think that's the dare. That's the challenge. Are you going to show up J.R. Kratos? And if J.R. Kratos isn't going to show up, who are we going to set up? Supreme Pro Wrestling. The people that help get things done. Maybe we got to talk to the SPW president again. Maybe we got to dig in and see who we can get this show up. But I put out the challenge. I'll put out the dare. I dare somebody to show up and sign their names into the Choppy Hall of Fame. Light this big man up. You know, Matt Cardona once said that he does these chops in hopes that they don't want to get chopped again. Well, Matt Cardona started the Choppy tour, and, well, it continues. Will you show up on April 27th? And put the chop on. Now, what happens? What happens if a bunch of people show up for this? You throw out an open challenge. What if a J.R. Kratos shows up? What if a Timothy Thatcher shows up? What if a John Morrison shows up, or a Johnny TV, or a Johnny Supreme?
Oof.
What if former SPW Tag Team Champions Journey and Jacob Fatu were to show up?
I bit off a lot more than I could chew. That's for sure, fellas.
I mean, who knows? I mean, we know. Hey, you could get the big ugly himself, JD Bishop, showing up. I mean, he has a deep history, a multi-time SPW heavyweight champion. I mean, it's one Supreme night, so it's definitely going to be a one Supreme choppy tour on that night. Who knows? Who knows?
Who will do it? Who's going to show up is all I want to know.
You may be going home. You may be going home after a chopped salad contest. Because, I mean, if there's a line.
You mean I'm going to look like Daniel Puder at the Royal Rumble?
You may look like Chris Van Fleet after he took the chops from Gunther.
Oof.
I don't know. Look at the names we just listed that could possibly show up at this event that have deep-rooted history. And we're not even talking about everybody who has deep-rooted history with SPW. But if enough of those names showed up and they all wanted to be a part of the challenge, well, you put it out there, you're going to have to answer that challenge.
That shirt's coming off. It's the only time you're going to see all the meat. All the meat.
One Supreme night, April 27, 2025, is going to be one Supreme night. Believe that. The Value Wrestling is going to be there, and it's going to be one of the biggest parties of April. I'm going to tell you, I know Mr. Z's going to Vegas. He's going to hang out at WrestleMania weekend. I may get there. We'll see what's going on with everything else. There's a lot of things that have to come into play. We'll see how that story goes. But I'm going to tell you, I don't think WrestleMania 41 is going to have anything on one Supreme night. I'm sorry to tell you. WWE is its thing, and it's special, and WrestleMania will be amazing. WrestleMania 41 will be a great show. There's a lot of great stories that we're building into. We're going into Survivor Series here next weekend, and then we're going into the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. There's a lot of stories that are out there. If you're paying attention, you know. If you don't know, then you need to really get in and pay attention. But I'm telling you, April 27th, back in Elk Grove, California, one Supreme night. I don't know if the building's big enough. I don't know if the building is going to be big enough for the crowd that's going to come through, because this is 25 years, the silver anniversary of SPW. And it's going to be the biggest main event in SPW history because everybody wants that spot. I'm telling you, they got me fired up. I'm like, I will throw my hat in that ring for one Supreme night. Put me in the main event. I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'll be the one-legged man in a butt kicking contest at this point. I mean, they got me amped up for it.
I know. Yeah, it's just like to be a part of it. Anyways, we're getting carried away. Let's get back to AEW Full Gear, because this is a match I'm sure you want to hear about and want to talk about in somewhat depth. Your boy, the Switchblade, taking on Hangman Adam Page. This match went 19 minutes, 52 seconds. A good match here between these two. It is what you expect. Hangman is kind of the loose cannon. I think he's trying to, find his inner Brian Pillman in all of this. We get a buckshot, but White catches him, hits a Blade Runner. 1, 2, 3. And White has 5 career victories over Hangman. Logan James gives the show a 7 out of 10, and it says his moment was the Shirakawa and Mariah May situation, which we'll get to in a minute. But right now, Jay White, big win over Hangman Adam Page. Of course, afterwards, Page attacks White as he walks up the ramp, only for Christopher Daniels to get out in Hangman's face, and then Hangman decks Daniels for whatever reason. They brought up the brief history that Daniels and Hangman have. But I don't know what we're doing with that. But Hangman gets his 5th career victory, or Jay White gets his 5th career victory over Hangman. Solid match, though. I mean, you can't complain. These two guys definitely worked good together, and it was definitely a solid match.
That's probably the only match I actually had more energy to watch, only because of the history, and I know they can tell a good story. They don't need the background noise for all that. The story wrote itself. Long-rooted history from New Japan to now. Jay White picking up a big win over, and I've even called it as before the match started. Jay White has his number. There's something about Hangman, it just does not breathe off big man energy at all. His loose cannon angle, I'm sorry, but last time I checked, Juice Robinson's got more of a loose cannon attitude than Hangman. I just feel Hangman's lost in the world of gimmicks at this point.
Something like that. It's just, it was a good, solid match. Hangman, I don't know what they're doing with him. I'll have to wait and see how it all comes together, because Hangman comes back later in this show in an interesting situation, but we'll see how that all plays out. Next up, we had the Protostar, Kyle Fletcher with Don Callis, to take on the aerial assassin, Will Ospreay. And Ospreay was out here in black with Punisher-inspired attire. Fletcher was out in white. So Ospreay out in black as the babyface, Kyle Fletcher out in white as the heel. Interesting. Make sure the bell rang, and this was what you would believe would be a great match between two friends. It was a solid match. The only complaint I had was there was too many near falls in this match, too much of that craziness of fall after fall. I mean, I know what this match was about. This was a match to establish Kyle Fletcher. I know a lot of Ospreay people are pissed off. A lot of Ospreay people are mad. They feel like Ospreay got buried. It's really not that way. I get irritated with this. I think a lot of people are making the analysis that WWE brought back the power driver and trying to make it a sacred moment, and AEW just kind of craps on it, doing the tombstone off the apron onto the steel steps. Though I'm sure they were both protected and nobody looks like they got hurt, but it's just, is it worth that risk of just one minor flaw in the situation, one minor misstep, one minor miss of a moment? I don't know if that's necessary. But overall, in the end, Kyle Fletcher with the top rope brainbuster puts down Will Ospreay in a match that went 24 minutes and 13 seconds, and that was probably 10 minutes too long, all in all, honestly. That just kept going and going, and it was when it's Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, they're good at what they do, and it was a lot of this Ospreay big moves. When you get to 24 minutes, you're tired. It's the big thing. You're just kind of like, okay, let's get to the end of this. It was near falls, and it was just big move. And go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're right. And you start here, and it's so great, so good together. But you're going from a Stormbreaker, Hidden Blade, the pile driver onto the steel steps, onto the apron. It's just the mentality and the amp of the fans, just little by little. I mean, if they would have went 14 minutes and it would have ended with that brainbuster on the turnbuckle, I would have been fine with it. But they gave moments of Ospreay winning too much, leaving fans anticipated for him to finish him off. And then Fletcher gets the big win. Yeah, I can understand why the fans are mad. I was a little mad, but after talking to you off air, I'm like, all right, I get what they're doing. They're trying to keep this going. And then you bring out his former partner, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do with him now?
Yeah, no, this is a lot about making Fletcher a star. He needed the win over Ospreay. Ospreay didn't need this win, but I think this just went on too long. They were trying to keep Ospreay looking strong. Like, it took so much to take Ospreay out. It's like, that is good, but also I think it's a little bad. I mean, it's like, if Fletcher couldn't just get this really good win and move forward, then I think it's a little over the top. I mean, it was a solid match. It was entertaining, but it was a lot of that over the top finisher, and you're just like, you're worn out by the end of it. And there's good and bad to it, but in this one, it wasn't. Kyle Fletcher, and of course, at the end, Mark Davis came running down in a very weird situation. They almost made it look like Mark Davis was going to turn on Ospreay for a minute because the way he was interacting, and Kyle Fletcher wasn't going after him, and Davis was helping Ospreay up. But nothing really came of it. So it was like, why did we have Davis come down there? He didn't really get in the face of Fletcher. Fletcher backed off, left the ringside. Mark Davis just helped up Ospreay, and it was kind of like, what? There was no meaning, purpose, or anything to lead. Mark Davis didn't stand in front of him, didn't stop Fletcher from attacking Ospreay after the match. And I don't think we really want to see Davis and Fletcher wrestle any more than we need to. So it was really just kind of weird. I thought they were going to have Mark Davis turn on Fletcher and align with Kyle Fletcher here, but they didn't give us that. So interesting situation.
It just it was a whole lot of nothing at the end of it. I was like, all right, move on. Let's keep the show rolling.
Yes. Anyways, up next was this Champagne Championship celebration with Mina Shirakawa, and she is here to introduce AEW Women's World Champion Mariah May and the love of her life. Mariah has quite the shiner. She says it's been quiet the few months, but it's also been worth it to kill the entire division. There's not a single woman alive who can touch her. Mina is here, or is her one true friend, and she couldn't have done this without her. Mina grabs the champagne. They cross arms. Mina says, long may she reign. They drink this champagne. Mina says, let's celebrate. They dance, but May creeps up behind Mina Shirakawa with a bottle. She goes to crack it over Mina's head. Mina ducks. Mina kicks the bottle out of her hand and then spears Mariah off the stage through a table. Mina pops up bleeding as Mariah May is laid out like she is seriously injured. Mariah May gets up and Mina basically like attacks her in a shrill banshee scream. I don't know. It was weird. I guess you gotta like that stuff. I don't know why. I mean, okay. Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May next.
She like took her head and took her bleeding mouth and just kind of motorboated it. I don't know.
I don't know. It was really weird. It was weird. That's all I can tell you.
Think of a few people that might have liked it.
Nope.
Say his name on there.
Nope. Hold on. I got you. You out.
Okay.
Anyways, we go from that to an actual decent video package of Daniel Garcia looking at his childhood with a phone call from his mother. A big push for Daniel Garcia. And we got the big match, the AEW TNT Championship on the line as the scapegoat Jack Perry defends his title against Daniel Garcia. This match went 18 minutes, 16 seconds. A solid match. These two got decent goings. Eventually, Perry gets his fingers on the ropes, but the hold isn't broken. Garcia leans back, and Perry taps out. And you have a new TNT champion. Daniel Garcia has finally won a belt, his first belt in AEW. A decent, solid match. I don't know if there's a lot to get excited about. They move forward, backward, sideways, and everything with Daniel Garcia. That's like, okay, cool. Jack Perry really didn't do anything with the TNT title. They had him running over the unkillable Darby Allin and floating around with the Elite, but the Elite seemed to die when they dropped the storyline and shifted it to the Death Riders. So now that the title's on Daniel Garcia, we'll have to see what he does. He's re-signed with the company, so I'm sure this is what the agreement was. Tony Khan goes, if you re-sign, I'll let you be TNT champion. And here we are. So I don't know what to say. It's okay. Not horrible, but I don't know if it was pay-per-view quality levels. I mean, you could have done this on TV, but I mean, hey, to each his own.
Well, we're not the Booker, man. Let's just leave it at that. But, Daniel Garcia getting a big win, getting the title. Congratulations. You deserve it. Now, the question for me is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be a man? Are you going to be a man and defend that title properly and do business? Or are you going to be like other individuals and be like, I'm going to hold on to it as long as possible?
Yeah.
What you going to do with Tony?
The big thing's going to be the follow-up. I guess that's what the hard thing is. We switched the belt to Daniel Garcia. We've seen what Daniel Garcia has been in the past. Now we're rushing him into this title since he's re-signed. Now it's kind of like, okay, what are you going to do with it? What's the follow-through? I guess it's more of where we're looking at it at this point, because it's like, okay, cool. Daniel Garcia definitely deserves a title. He's a great talent, but it's like, what are you going to do from here? Are you going to make him shine or not? I mean, what happens to most people after they win an AEW title and lose it? They kind of flounder into nothingness. I mean, MJF is running around wrestling Roderick Strong tonight after being your AEW World Champion. And I don't think Swerve Strickland's won on pay-per-view since he lost the AEW World title to Bryan Danielson. No. So, I mean, it's like you win a title, then you lose it, and then you just kind of flounder into obscurity. Tony Storm, I guess, is retired from wrestling. At least that's the storyline they're painting right now. We'll have to see what's more. Hangman Page, a former AEW World Champion, he's kind of, there's some relevance to him, but there's not a whole lot there. I mean, you look at former champions and what are they doing? But the good thing tonight,
Wardlow, we gave you a title shot, man. Are you still down there? He had one, and when he lost.
I guess the highlight of the night is that the Young Bucks, the Tampon Bucks, were on the show, and Mr. Z's favorite person wasn't on the show tonight. Hi, guys. There was no Lord Injury tonight.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Anyways, the next match was the AEW International Championship match when Konosuke Takeshita took on Ricochet in a solid match. It was pretty much what you expected, like this Ricochet doing Ricochet things. Eventually, Ricochet goes up. Takeshita goes up too. Power drive knee to the back. Avalanche Falcon Arrow gets the pin. 1, 2, 3. The match kind of started off slowly. It picked up in the middle. The finish kind of was like, okay. I figured Takeshita was going to win. I didn't see Ricochet winning this. I thought Ricochet came to AEW to be something. To me, he feels like Ricochet on WWE TV. It's just a different TV program, a different brand. It's the same old Ricochet doing the same Ricochet stuff, still coming up short. But Ricochet seems tickled to be in AEW, free to do what he wants to do. I guess he's going to have to work a little harder to reach that Jon Moxley creative control level.
Well, I mean, you got Takeshita, and respects to him. He's getting ready probably for the biggest match of his career at Wrestle Dynasty, where he takes on the Angry Dragon Shingo Takagi for the Never Belt. I believe if he loses, there was going to be at some point they were going to go title for title. But I got to find out the stipulation process of that, because that title's supposed to be defended both days.
Well, I saw something where there's like a winner, there's a match, and then there's another match, like with Takeshita. He's supposed to fight somebody, and then the winner of that match is supposed to fight somebody else or something. I don't know. I saw something.
I'll have to look that up. Right now I'm in the midst of World Tag League, so it's kind of hard to keep. Not quite ready for all that just yet.
And he will be breaking that down on Wednesday for you, ladies and gentlemen. So stay around. Wednesday of this coming up week, right before Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving Eve, you're going to get your New Japan Pro Wrestling filled. So you have something to watch while you're waiting for all that wonderful food to get cooked up on Thursday. You definitely want to tune in right here to the Value of Wrestling and catch up, if you don't do it on Wednesday, to the New Japan Rebound podcast.
If you're like me, folks, you want to listen to it while you're prepping the food the night before, it's a great listen.
There you go. Takesha retains the title. And, of course, we're also moving into World's End this next coming month, which also means that we will be starting the Continental Crown tournament this Wednesday on Dynamite. So that means Okada will have to be in this tournament defending his Continental Crown title. Will we have a new Continental Crown champion after this is all over, said and done? Okada, definitely not a stranger to tournament brackets like this, but we'll have to see who's going to be involved and how this is all going to come down. But World's End, the Continental Crown tournament, invitational tournament, will end at World's End. Yeah. So over the next several weeks, we should see some great matches. Hopefully, they'll set up better brackets than last year.
Well, I mean, that'd be the great thing. You got to remember too, that one last year's was prone to let Danielson win. Instead, it was Eddie Kingston, which no complaint here. But
what? No complaint that they let Eddie Kingston win it, become a Triple Crown winner, made a big deal about him being a Triple Crown title holder, and then squashed him to Okada and made it meaningless.
Yeah, no, I'm complaining about that. I was not complaining about letting him win it. That was perfect. But squashing him and making him look like a pooch, that's it.
and this is why we're not that over about Daniel Garcia winning the TNT title. We're like, oh, that's cool. He deserves it. We're happy. But we've learned when we were excited about Eddie Kingston, because we didn't really think they were going to do what they did with Eddie Kingston to win all that, be the Triple Crown winner, make a big deal about Eddie being this Triple Crown, and then he just lost all the titles, all like that. And then it was just over, and you were just like, oh, and we haven't even seen of Eddie Kingston. Does Eddie Kingston even wrestle anymore? What has happened to Eddie Kingston? Have we seen Eddie Kingston?
I know he got injured during that match with Gabe Kidd, so I don't know if he's still out on injury or not.
Well, hopefully Gabe Kidd doesn't injure Kenny Omega at Wrestle Dynasty, since Kenny Omega is making his return.
Yeah, but when you have a table set up against the railing and there's not much space between the ring and the railing, and Eddie Kingston goes through the table, his head hits the back of the railing. It was kind of a nasty spill, okay? I watched that match live. I mean, I was there for that. It was kind of messed up.
I don't know. You broke up somewhere in all that conversation. All I heard is you wanted to do a 450 through a table.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Do not listen to this man.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Senor Z, the super heavyweight luchador whose finishing maneuver is the 450 splash through a table.
Can it just be the bullfrog splash like Kevin Owens? It's just a little easier for my big hefty self. It'd be the Vader bomb. That's what it would be.
There you go. the split-legged moonsault. What? Hey,
no,
you should.
No.
You know what? You know what? You should be able to do that Jacob Fatu moonsault.
He's more of an athletic big man than I could ever dream of. Hell, Sir Samurai is more athletic than I am. Okay. You see
what you think? Wait. Did you say? Did you secretly say Jacob Fatu is a booch and you could beat him with one hand tied behind your back?
Did not. I would never.
Did you challenge Jacob Fatu to a match at One Supreme Night? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
The main event. I don't want to die.
Gotta have fun with it.
Remember, Jacob, I bought you a beer. Remember?
Jacob, I'll buy you a whole 12-pack. I will run down to the store right now. I'll come with a 24-pack. How Go get you a cake. Please, brother, I love you. You're my tribal chief.
There you go.
Recognize you.
There
You're the
go.
one. Here, I got a follow for you. You don't go, my tribal chief.
There you go. Oh man, that's a great one.
These are great stuff. Anyways, the match that everybody wanted to see: Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley. It was what you expected. Shelton Benjamin got kicked out. Eventually, MVP was there. Tries to get Lashley back to his feet. Swerve with an exploder. He spears Strickland through the ringside barricade. Lashley does. Lashley brings Swerve back in the ring. Hits another spear and then puts on the hurt lock. Swerve passes out. Referee calls the match. Match went 13 minutes, 22 seconds. It was a mid-match. Swerve has fallen from grace, losing to Bryan Danielson, then losing to Hangman, and now losing to Bobby Lashley here. Yeah, he got the win to Shelton Benjamin, but he's not winning on pay-per-views. I figured he wasn't going to win the Lashley here because Lashley's, too new for. I don't know where we go from here. After the match, Lashley put the hurt lock on Prince Nana. So.
Still called the Almighty. How do you manage to keep that name?
WWE doesn't write all that, and I think they have it. And you know what? There's a better Almighty than him, but we won't call out that man's name.
Oh yeah, no. He can enjoy that island where he's hanging out and enjoying himself.
Because Tony might be listening, and if Tony hears that name, he'll start putting in phone calls, and then somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody that wasn't the person that just happens to be there is going to get hurt. There's going to be mixed communication. Hey, what are you laughing about? That boy almost took a chair to you last time. If you don't recall, at Realm of Warriors Championship Wrestling, he had a glimmer in his eye when he was holding that stool, and your back was turned.
See, you did.
He may have plans to take you out.
He's gonna go full heel on me one day. No,
You never know.
All them chores. Stop making him do the dishes.
maybe he gets connections. He calls up Jacob Fatu.
Don't get that boy any ideas.
Anywho, the main event, the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. There was nothing great here. OC got busted open. They battled it out like you thought. There were fall after fall after near fall after near fall. Beach breaker 1, 2. This breaker, that breaker, clocks. Eventually, the rest of the Death Riders come down. Claudio and Pac come out. Then that brought out Tomohiro Ishii, Rocky Romero, and Kyle O'Reilly to fight them off because now Kyle O'Reilly's out here, not worried about what happened to Roderick Strong earlier. Now he's back out here because the rest of this weird conglomerate group is here. Marina Shafir was in the ring with the briefcase, but out comes Willow Nightingale with a spear of her own, which means that now OC has the briefcase and he clocks Moxley. Gets a 1-2. OC sets to take the armband off and hit a orange punch to finish it, but out of nowhere, somebody covered up in black comes out and hits a Busaiku knee, only to realize it was Ryuta. And Moxley hits a Death Rider. Moxley retains the title. This match went 19 minutes and 21 seconds. Of most of that, probably about 15 minutes of that went way too long for what it was. Then all hell breaks down for no stupid reason. Like this was a pay-per-view main event. That didn't end the story. No, we got into shit that we didn't even need to have on this pay-per-view. Like Will Ryuta and Moxley hold a busted open OC and get the disinfectant that they use to clean the ring and start pouring it down Hangman down OC's mouth on his wounds. We don't know. I don't know what the purpose of that was. Like that was really weird and bizarre. I know, like, it should have hurt his wounds. Out came Hangman Page. He's with a steel chair. He takes out Yuta for whatever reason. Moxley and Hangman come face to face in a crazy way. Christian Cage comes out and hits the kill switch. Page is holding the contract. He passes it to Cage. Moxley is out. All the stars are aligning. It looks like Christian Cage is about to sign that contract and win the AEW championship. But then out comes Jay White again. He hits a Blade Runner on Cage. Claudio and Pac then attack White from behind. That means Cage left sulking to the back. Marina Shafir carrying Moxley to the back with the rest of the Death Riders as they're scurrying off. Jay White then grabs the chair at ringside as everybody else is left, and he starts walking to the back. When we catch up with the Death Riders running to the back, they are running in fear of Jay White, of Orange Cat. I don't know what they're running away to their truck, which makes no sense. Moxley just finished off the OC, and Jay White, and I'm sorry, I know Jay White's one of your favorite guys, and there's a lot of good about Jay White, but they're running away from Jay White. So they run out, and all of a sudden, as they're about to get in their pickup truck, a spray-painted car crashes into their pickup truck, wrecking it, so they hijack somebody else's SUV, jump in that, take off. Darby Allin comes out of the car that crashed into the pickup truck. Now he's busted open, and he starts beating the crap out of the car. Luckily, he used a skateboard and didn't go completely Goldberg-esque, with his arm. He jumped up on the car and was jumping up and down, screaming out Moxley, kind of like, i.e., let's go, Psycho Sid and Goldberg. If we want to throw another reference, when Goldberg smushed Psycho Sid's car to a flat pancake, and Sid was jumping up and down and jumping on it, screaming, Goldberg, Goldberg. Yeah, that shit made no sense. Like, I am so confused when Cage took out Moxley, and then the Death Riders, this badass group that's taking over AEW, is scurrying away to their truck. They're like trying to get out of there. We gotta go. They're all in a panic. Like, who's coming after you? Jay White with the steel chair. There is 5 of you, and you're worried about little old Jay White, who I know is a great talent, but they have not booked him to be anything. Recently, they've kind of built him in his space, but him with a steel chair, that's what the Death Riders are about. John Moxley, who's ripping everybody apart, destroying AEW, wants to burn it down and rebuild it in his own image, is running away from Jay White. And then we had the stupid, why do we have to have Darby Allin doing all these stupid, insane stunts? I mean, are we trying to kill this man? Do we not learn anything from some of these guys who did this? I mean, do we not look at Jeff Hardy and go, okay, can we not limit this young man from doing some of these insane stunts? Was there a reason to have him crash his car into the pickup truck? And then they got in another car and left anyways. So the counter wasn't even there. And then you have him bashing out the windows in the truck to serve no purpose, jumping up and down and stomping, screaming out, Moxley, come back. Moxley, oh, why are you leaving, Moxley? I don't know. I don't know. They had some good stuff, but then when you close out the show with all this extra crap that was never needed, like, you could have ended the show 15 minutes early and everybody would have been okay, but you had to do this extra 15 minutes of the Death Rider crap, them attacking the OC, dumping chemicals on him, supposedly. Then Hangman coming down and attacking Yuta, but not attacking Moxley, then helping Cage or giving the contract back to Cage, not really helping Cage, but maybe helping Cage, only for Jay White to come down and attack Cage. And then Yuta and Claudio attack White, and then they all scurry off like rats, and then Jay White grabs a chair, and you're just like, I can't follow this. And then the car crashes, and it's just like, your thoughts, Mr. Z?
Well, at least Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne didn't come down with them. How about that? Like, I guess that was a plus. I just don't understand why the extra. There was no need for it. They're letting Moxley commit assault and, plastic bag sleeper holds. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I just sat there and was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I don't know either. It was something of a whole different level that was very confusing.
had Darby Allin sounding like Roderick Strong when he was screaming for Adam. I mean,
Yeah. Ain't that about the damn truth?
I don't know. Hey, what was the reason? It didn't make any sense. It was like, all right, let's have a cluster fluff right at the end of the show so everyone goes home happy. I'm pretty sure everyone went home and didn't even care about what was going on.
Dustin Rhodes has taken to Twitter and he's made this statement, and I guess you can take it however you want. There's, I guess, multiple ways you could kind of take this, but he says there is nobody on the planet that does pay-per-views like AEW.
Dustin, I respect you, but you're.
Well, I mean, he didn't say
I will get blocked by you one day.
He didn't say as good, and nobody does it as good. He just said nobody does pay-per-views like AEW, and I mean, AEW has a way of kind of doing pay-per-views. So I mean, yeah, I mean, sure.
Well, they have a good way of doing live events too. Just ask Big Time how he felt when we left. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I'm glad I didn't fall asleep on the drive home.
At least the bonus part of that, we got to see Jack Summit in a nice little match with AR Fox. So, I mean.
Yeah, he had a great fight with AR Fox, but I'm going to tell you what, Jack Summit, the Cartwheel Kid, Mr. Cartwheel himself, the cartwheeler of cartwheels, the excellence of cartwheels, had a stellar banger match with Marcus Lewis, the Flying Lion, at FPW, still hungry. I mean, being that close and seeing that up close and personal, I mean, that was a match for the ages. And if you weren't there for Still Hungry, you missed that opportunity. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think he'll be back for Hostile Holiday, but Hostile Holiday will still be a great match and well worth the effort. But you know what? Birdies are talking, rumors are boiling. You never know when the Cartwheel Kid will cartwheel down the aisle one more time at SPW. And of course, the 25th anniversary, One Supreme Night, Jack Summit, who, if you don't know, is right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let me share with the world. We got a beautiful signed picture.
Oh, yeah.
Of Jack Cartwheel, of Jack Summit, the Cartwheel Kid. Let me put that back. There we go. Yeah. So, I mean, we got that. But, y'all, you may get to see him at One Supreme Night on April 27, 2025, the 25th anniversary show. So you may want to be there. And if you're wondering what's over here, this is a picture of good old Frosty, our buddy, our boy, the Force of Nature, Drake Frost. Something I made up. Got him to sign that. He loved it. He loved it. He got a kick out of it. We're going to make some more. We're going to do some more of these things. We're going to get more autographs from some of these big names. We're going to get an autograph wall going eventually, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to share that with you someday. But AEW Full Gear, it is over. It is in the books. We can get ready for next Saturday when WWE brings the Survivor Series. AEW doing their media scrum. So if you're looking for something interesting to watch once this is over, you can go check that out. But yeah, I think that's all I really have to say about AEW and their Full Gear. There was good, there was bad, there was ugly.
We'll be here and I was going to say, we'll be here tomorrow night, folks. We won't be here Monday night, but we'll be here Tuesday.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be here tomorrow night, Sunday night at 8 p.m. right here, Pacific time on the Value Wrestling with your weekly roundup podcast. We're going to talk about some of the other new names that have joined the WWE ID program as they grow that program. We are going to talk about some other great news. What is going on with AEW? Why CM Punk is the fifth man for the Bloodline? What does that mean? And what was the comparison made with what Paul Heyman was wearing and Solo Sikoa wearing? Is there a subliminal message to pay attention to and all that? And so much other news. There is a lot of news to cover. CM Punk getting involved in the storyline. CM Punk getting involved in the storyline. There's a lot of rumors that this may lead to CM Punk and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Maybe the return of AJ Lee and Becky Lynch Could we see a couple versus couple match at WrestleMania 41? Who knows? A lot to talk about when it comes to wrestling news, rumors, and all of that wonderful stuff. I mean, it's going to be a show that we're going to talk about, and we're going to be here. We're going to be breaking it all down. So you definitely want to be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. on the channel. Make sure you got that bell rang for notifications, so whenever that comes up, you'll be ready for it, ladies and gentlemen, because it will be a great thing. We'll talk about Jade Cargill after she was attacked. Is she legitimately injured? Is this all storyline? There are some news coming out of there. We'll talk even about Kenny Omega's big match coming up, Wrestle Dynasty, where he's going to take on Gabe Kidd. Why is he going to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling and not AEW? We can talk about Mercedes Moné's eyeing appearance at the Tokyo Dome for Wrestle Dynasty. There was multiple visitors backstage tonight at Full Gear that we're going to go over. So, I mean, there's a lot to see what's going down. We're also going to talk about Ricky Starks talking about CM Punk at Game Changer Wrestling. Yes, Ricky Starks at GCW.
Oh, boy.
So
he's making his rounds. Like, I'm all for it. Sign this man already.
Yes, it could be interesting to see. Well, I think he's still under contract with AEW, so he can't do too much. So we're going to have to see how that plays out. And, of course, we won't be here Monday night because
Ricky Starks. Real quick. Ricky Starks, if you got nothing to do in April and you're still under contract, by all means, there is a place you can come.
SPW won Supreme Night April 27th, the fourth Sunday of April, because WrestleMania is coming in on that third Sunday. So SPW is going to bring you action on the fourth Sunday of April of 2025. April 27th, 2025, one Supreme Night. Ladies and gentlemen, and I promise you, the Value Wrestling is going to get you fired up for this show. We are lining up some things. We are going to get some things done. And we can't wait to share all that great stuff with you. But come back tomorrow night, the Weekly Roundup podcast. Join us for that conversation. We will not be here Monday. We are tied up, scheduled with some other events on Monday. Tuesday, we'll be back with your Monday Night Raw post-show review. We'll get to watch Monday Night Raw, and then we'll give you all the rundown after that. Wednesday, the New Japan Rebound podcast will be live on the channel. Next Thursday is Thanksgiving, so there may not be an IWCP, the Internet Wrestling Community Podcast, unless me and the big man just both sit down and go, hey, we're bored, let's do it. But we'll see what's going on. So just be aware. If you're looking for something maybe on Thursday night, there might be something. I won't promise you right now. It'll just depend on a scheduling thing. And then Fridays, we'll be back with your SmackDown post-show review. Next Saturday, we're going to be here with your Survivor Series post-show review. And then it starts all over again. And then we're going to be in December, ladies and gentlemen, near December. It'll be a fun time. December will be here December 8th. December 8th, Roseville, California, Lucha Santa, Barrios Toys. Make sure you're following for that so you can be there for that. And then December 15th, SPW, Supreme Pro Wrestling's Hostile Holiday. Can't wait to hear the card announced for this show. How are we going to go out? I heard last year at Supreme Pro Wrestling Hostile Holiday, they had gift wrap toys and gift wrap weapons. I heard it was even fans bring our own weapons to SPW for this big show. Could we get an opportunity? I have a slightly damaged TV here. So I mean, if we get one of those events, I might have to bring this slightly damaged TV to throw into the action.
I'm sorry. A sock full.
We're going to have our car full again. Last time it was full of food and supplies. This time it's going to be toys. And who knows what else we will dig up and bring for the fun. But hey, you know what? Anything's possible. When you come to Supreme Pro Wrestling.
Just as long as they don't go into our table with Daniel Torch, we hope you're okay, Bella. Just be careful next time.
Well, I think they all went to the table. We had Daniel Torch under the table, Nathan Brick, Jason Xavier right there at the table, two at our feet. So we'll see what happens this time. When there may be some different arrangements. going into that, but we'll talk about that afterwards. Off air between you and me. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being here. We thank you for joining us. Make sure you give this a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the Value Wrestling, because Value Wrestling is ready for 2025. We're going to make big changes. You want to be a part of what's going on. I promise you that for sure. You don't want to miss this. Ladies and gentlemen, SPW, Rumble Warriors Championship Wrestling, Stockton Con, and so many others. We will be headed to an Ugly Dojo show very soon. I can guarantee you. They're going to be happy to welcome us out. Collectible Stampede coming up with the show hopefully in February. Ladies and gentlemen, the Value Wrestling is going to be booked, and we're going to create. We're going to get to a point where you're going to possibly one day meet Senor Z, the super heavyweight luchador. C.
Or we, pending.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We thank you for taking time out of your busy night. We will see you on the next one.
Folks.